So I finally get to use my Tentbox for the first time tonight. It's been a while obviously since I did the last video, so thanks very much to all of you who's watched it, liked, subscribed. I hope you all sort of found some of it useful. So I'm going to do a video now of obviously sort of opening it up, getting it set up, and then I'll give some sort of sort of feedback later as to sort of how it goes. One thing I will say just now though, it's obviously been the first time I've used it, it's the first time I've driven really with it on the motorways and that. So far it seems pretty good. Hasn't really affected fuel economy particularly that much. I thought it was going to take a bit of a hit with that, but doesn't appear to have done. And sort of you do get a little bit of wind noise, but nothing I'd say that was of real kind of concern or issue. So all in all, it's it's pretty good actually while driving with it. So yeah, okay. So without further ado, let's get it installed. Okay, so my footage from the weekend wasn't that great of setting the Tentbox up, so I thought I'd redo it again. So first things is to unvelcro the two straps here. I normally then just go around and just grab those down rather than throw them across because of the buckles, so they don't damage the paintwork. And then unvelcro the sides as much of the front as I can reach, and the same on the back. The other side. And then this should just lift off. Okay, so once you've got the cover off, there's two more straps that you need to undo on this side, and then you can use the ladders to sort of lever the actual whole unit over. So you just grab these, pull them out, and then use that to lever the whole piece down. There we go. And then adjust the ladders to need to make sure they're locked out, but to the sort of best size. So there we go. Okay, so the tent did get a little bit wet over the weekend, and where I haven't closed this part down when I rolled it up, obviously you can see, you might be able to possibly see here where the mattress has got a little bit damp as a result. So it might be actually better to make sure you close at least the outer sleeve when closing it down. So let me just adjust the camera again. So in this bag we have the poles that open out these side flaps. If we get this down, there's little gaps in here, and you might be able to see, I don't know if you can see the camera in there, there's a little hole that goes in, and once you've got that in place you can easily bend that around and hook that up into there. And then similarly on the other side, that goes in, and then you can hook that up in there. So then you can hopefully see that's basically how it sets out. So yeah, I need to open this out. I'm going to do the other side as well, just so I can get a bit of airflow in here, because that has got quite wet there. So hopefully I can leave it open for a few hours and let some air get through and dry it out. So when I did sleep in here, I had a great night's sleep, to be honest with you. The mattress I actually changed. So the standard mattress in here, I found when I tested it sort of before, it was actually really quite hard. So I actually changed the foam into a softer mattress foam here. I guess it's sort of personal preference, but I found this with a softer foam, it was quite nice to sleep on. The only other thing I did notice is that it wasn't a huge amount, but it was just me sleeping in there. There was a little bit of condensation on the inside, more so sort of on the top. Not a huge amount, not enough to sort of create any drips or anything like that. But if you run your hand over it, you could feel that it was a little bit damp. So be interesting to know what it's like on a colder night with 2 people sleeping in here, and whether it gets quite damp, because it's obviously only single skinned on there. So it's a bit like with a normal tent. If it's single skinned, you can get a bit of condensation build up. Okay, I'll go around, install all of these, and then show you what it looks like all set up. Okay, so there we have it all fully set up now, with each of the side flaps all open, as you can see. It is really easy to set up. Literally, it's taken me probably, well, a few minutes, if that, to do it. Yeah, no real complaints with that. Putting it away, when I did that over the weekend, it was a little bit more fiddly. Not too bad. I'm sure if you did it in a, if it was throwing down the rain, it would be less fun to do, shall we say. But on the whole, you know, it is dead easy to put up and down. The only sort of things I had noticed, or kind of thoughts with it, was that once it does collapse flat again, some of the sides do tend to sort of poke out. There are sort of some internal straps to try and help prevent that, which I forgot to actually set back up, so that probably didn't help matters. But one of the other things that I hadn't sort of considered until using it is what you actually do with the main cover after, you know, once it's off. It's okay. Well, it was okay over the weekend when because I got the pickup all open at the back, but I am getting a canopy on here. So it's a question then of what do you do with this while it's out. So I think probably what I'd end up doing is folding it and tucking it underneath the vehicle, because if I've got things in the back, especially if it's wet, you wouldn't want to be putting that in there with all of your other kit. So yeah, it's just maybe one other little thing just to bear in mind. But on the whole, really pleased. Good night's sleep out of it. So yeah, dead chuffed. I think everything is now all dried nicely enough in here. So I'm going to start packing this away. Start obviously with putting the sides down. Okay, so to remove these out. Back in the bag. So I don't know if you can see, but down here these sort of toggle things that can go in there just to hold the flaps down. So I'm just going to do that on each side. Zip the fly screen and the main cover up. there to allow any escaping air when fold it all down. And then I'll just do basically the same again for that side, and then we can start on this side, which is where the ladders are. So one thing I forgot to do when I was using it over the weekend, let me just close the roof light in a little bit, so there's these straps, they've got little hooks on there, and they just reach across to these little eyelets on the sides there, and the idea being then is I think it helps hold each of the sort of side panels in, so when you're folding it down, they don't tend to, or hopefully they don't tend to sort of splay out too much. So once all the side panels are down, there's these extra straps on here which you just need to release. They just cover the sort of hinge area in there once it's open out. So we just do that on both sides. So closing wise, what I've been doing is collapsing the top sections of the ladder first and getting those down so it's almost to a point where it's short enough to sort of fold in like that, and then should have just about enough then to fold it up and then just let it flop down. Relatively straightforward, but now what you do, or will notice, is that obviously you've got all of these bits that poke out from the sides, and the last few times I've tried it they have been a little bit awkward to get in, but essentially all you need to do is just try and poke those sides in. Do the same on the other side. So that probably is the biggest faff with this, is just getting all this tucked in, but once you've done that, you've got then these two outer straps here, and these are the first ones to go in, and then you use those just to compress it down as much as you can. Do the same on this side. Make sure not any of the last little bits, and then really once that's done, the next bit then is just to put the main cover across, and these are obviously the main two other outer straps. So with the cover you've got these two sort of adjuster bits. I've always put those towards the back, so if I turn it around, That's okay. So let's velcro it down, stick it at the front. Pull it towards the back and start velcroing the side pieces down. Oops. And then last but not least, do the rear, and then I tend to just fold those in. Always seems a bit short, that last thing, but it seems to be enough just about for it to typically grab hold, but it does seem a little bit too short. And then you've got the two straps to go over the top. So there's one, and this one just go over. And then you've just got these two straps in the same way as we did with the other ones. Whoops. Just poke those through, pull it down, and then and that's it. We're good to go. All done. So that's my first weekend's use of my Tentbox Lite. Overall, really chuffed. It's been pretty easy to, well, dead easy to really get set up. It's a little bit more of a faff to put away, but not that much that it causes any real kind of cause for concern at all. It might be a different story if it's blowing a gale and throwing it down the rain at that time, but you know, that's a challenge you'll have to do at the time. But overall, yeah, it's been really good. Like I say, as I said before, the build quality of the materials, all of that lot, I'm really impressed with. Had a decent night's sleep in it, and yeah, just overall dead chuffed. So I hope this has been useful for some people. Gives you a little bit of an insight of what it's like to set one up, pack it back down again, and I say a few little bits and pieces that I've learned along the way. I'm sure the more I use it, the easier it'll become. Yeah, hopefully that's been of some help to some of you. Cheers, guys.